Hey guys, welcome back to Living Life the Old Way. My name is Rebecca, and today we're going to talk about some things that I no longer buy at the store or try really hard not to buy on a regular basis. This video is not really about perfection. This is not bragging that I don't buy these things. When I decided to cut out a lot of things out of my diet, it really became necessity to buy these things to make these things rather than buy them at the store. And also I think it's really important to choose capability over dependency, and that way you can choose what you want to put in your body. So for example, when I made the choice to no longer include seed oils, like some of the things that I used to buy on a regular basis always included seed oils. So like take mayonnaise for example. If you'll read on the back of any brand of mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, salad dressing mix, whatever you want to call it, most of them in the top like 5 ingredients have soybean oil. And that's not something I want to consume. And if you want to choose one with like an avocado oil base or something like that, it's very expensive. You can get some on like Thrive Market or in some health food stores and things like that, but you're going to pay for it. So I would rather just buy the big jug of avocado oil, and that way I can use it for cooking and other things. And then I can make the homemade mayonnaise with avocado oil at a fraction of the cost, and it just saves a lot in the long run. So anyway, let's jump right into it. I don't have a certain number of things that I don't buy anymore. I kind of grouped it into categories. So I've got my list because I can't remember anything, but we're going to go ahead and start with things that I don't buy anymore. So the first thing to go probably was condiments. So that would be like things like mayonnaise, ranch, all kinds of salad dressings, honestly, dips. Pancake syrup is a big one. So pancake syrup is not healthy by any means, even if you make it at home. But if you want to not ingest high fructose corn syrup, then you could buy like organic cane sugar and use that rather than, buying the corn syrup at the store. Okay, so those are most of the condiments that I'm no longer purchasing. Mayonnaise is super easy to buy or make, super easy to make. Okay, next category. So I think that we all know that I don't buy bread on a regular basis from the store, but so bread and most grain products. So that would also include noodles, tortillas, rolls, pie crust, pizza crust, things like that. That you can I grind my own wheat berries. So anything that has a flour base, I try to make. Some things not listed on there is like biscuits. Anyway, next category would be like prepackaged snacks and mixes. So things that would fall under that category would be granola bars, like kids' goldfish crackers, cake mix, brownie mix, just a lot of convenience things. So convenience mixes, cake mix is just a bunch of different flours and things to make your self-rising flour and all that. And you can put all those things together and mix it up and bake a cake super easy if you have all those ingredients on hand. So some other things would be packaged seasoning blends. So things that are going to fall under that would be like gravy mixes, the salad dressing mixes. I know there used to be an Italian dressing one that come in the glass bottle, and you dumped in the seasoning packet, and then you'd add like water to a certain line and vinegar and oil. And I love those, and I love that you can use whatever oil you want. I think that's a great start, but I took it a step further and I ordered the different seasonings that go into the seasoning packet, and that way I can make it however I want. So anyway, but either one, if you're just starting out with the packets, as long as they don't have any ingredients that you don't want to consume, then the packets are fine. You don't have to buy the single ingredients and make your own, but you can if you want to. Another couple seasoning packets, a lot of people buy like the roast seasoning or beef stew seasoning or just things like that, you know. And if you have a really good supply of seasonings, I bulk order a lot from Frontier Co-op. We have a small group that orders together. And so I'll order all of my spices and seasonings in at least 1 pound packages, and that helps a lot. I just keep them in jars. I don't happen to have any close, but anyway, and that way, you know, I've got a huge bulk supply of all kinds of seasonings, and it's just a little bit easier to be an ingredient household that way. But it comes in very convenient, and I think it's cheaper in the long run. So, all right, so next package is a lot of convenience, shelf stable foods. And we do have a big garden every year, so a lot of these foods would be like canned green beans, canned corn, canned soups. We grow tons of green beans. I can them every year. I've tried canning corn. I don't really like it. I like it frozen a lot better, or we'll freeze it just on the cob. A lot of times, I'll just freeze it on the cob, and then at dinner we'll cut it off. And if you freeze dry that corn, it's actually super sweet and it's really good. And it's good just as a snack, like a almost kind of like a chip replacement, which sounds really crazy, but it is good. So anyway, so we just like to preserve corn out of the garden in several different ways. So there's not really any need for canned corn. Plus, it's kind of mushy when you eat canned corn, or when you can it yourself. So um, it just changes, and I don't like the texture as much. So um, let's see, soups. I've tried canning some soups. We do can like some beef stew type dinners, and I do really enjoy those for convenience. Um, but we don't buy anything like that, because we can make it at home, and it's super easy to make at home. So you just can those up and have them on your shelf, and it's really great for a meal where you don't really want to cook, but you want good food. So convenience foods. Um, let's see. We do honey, so we have our own honey, so we don't have any need to go buy honey, and I'm so thankful for that because it is expensive. Not that raising bees is cheap by any means, but it's worth it. We don't buy any kind of jams or jellies. We also can those. They're super easy. If you want to start out learning how to can something, jams and jellies are probably the easiest place to start. So, I can't really think of a whole lot more that we don't purchase. There's lots of other stuff that I'm working towards, that I don't have down yet. I'm kind of dabbling around in some herbal medicines, and there's some things that I would like to get away from. We do currently make fire cider, so we're trying to use that as a preventative as far as getting sick. So if you don't get sick, then you're not in the place of needing to use those medicines. So fire cider is definitely a preventative. We do elderberry syrup. I do have a couple tinctures here. I tend to get a lot of headaches. I'm not really positive of the cause, but anyway, I was reading a little bit about the feverfew herb, and if you have the tincture and you take it as a preventative, then it can stop, yourself from getting the headaches, which would be amazing. So I'm kind of looking into that. I made the tincture. I haven't actively started having it, but I would just like to learn a little bit more about herbal medicine. I think the less that we can depend on somebody else. I mean, if you could go outside, not that I have feverfew growing, but if we could just go outside and use what we have available to us in its most natural form, that's got to be the best, in my opinion. So anyway, that's another thing I'm working towards. Another thing is we did have a dairy cow. Unfortunately, last spring she passed away, her and her calf, which is a terrible situation. And I didn't jump right back into getting another cow because we have a lot going on, and it just wasn't a good time for us. So we were in a place where we didn't have to buy a whole lot of our dairy, and we do use a lot of dairy. So that was really great, and I do want to get back to that spot, but the timing is just not right now. So eventually we can add dairy to that list, hopefully, again. That cuts out so much though. You know, you've got milk, you've got butter, you've got heavy cream, yogurt. We got to where we learned how to use kefir or kefir or however you say that. Clabber was really awesome for learning how to make cheese. So we used Clabber as a starter rather than buying the starters to make the cheese. We used Clabber and kefir, I don't know. Anyway, that worked out really well and it was a lot of fun. We did mozzarella, so we're just now, she has been gone, you know, coming up on a year, and we still are using mozzarella that I had put away and froze from her milk, which is amazing. Ricotta cheese also, we're just now running out of that, and so hopefully when the timing's right, we'll be able to get us another cow and get that started again. So of course, beef comes along with owning a dairy cow because you have, you know, she has to be bred every year, have a calf. And we currently have our freezer stocked, but I'm hoping to add that to my list of things that I don't have to buy anymore. And with the prices of beef, yeah, that will be great because I sure don't want to have to buy it for very long. But when we do, and if we do, I'll try to you know, find a local farmer or support somebody like that and, you know, take it to a butcher or, you know, just shop local and support local. So that would be the most ideal situation for us. Okay, so another thing that I'm working towards is spaghetti sauce, and it seems like spaghetti sauce would be super easy. I love tomatoes, and we grow plenty of them to make our own sauce. But I do have a very picky little girl, and she only likes one kind of spaghetti sauce. And I've tried so many different recipes, and they just haven't worked. They're not the one for her. So, gosh, I'm gonna try this summer, and maybe I can work in like half of her store-bought sauce and half homemade sauce, and maybe we can kind of switch her over slowly. So, wish me luck on that. Another thing that I would really like to stop buying from the store or stop relying so much on the store for is fruit. We do not live in an area where fruit trees are, you know, there's a lot that we can't grow, but there's quite a bit that we can grow. I currently have one or two peach trees. They're still small. They're not really producing yet, but maybe down the road that will be something that we can do. We do have blueberry bushes, and this last year it was really good. It was our first year that we actually got like a decent amount, something to do with, you know, besides just walking out there and snacking. So I have high hopes about that. I want to get some more blueberry bushes. Strawberries also. We kind of got wiped out on strawberries last year, or the year before, I'm not sure. Anyway, we decided to put our pig in our garden area over the winter to kind of clean up the grass and everything. Well, I mean, he didn't really eat the grass, but he sure did eat all of our strawberry plants and a lot of things that were supposed to stay. So that's probably not the best idea if you're thinking about doing that. He didn't even root up the ground very much, so I don't know, bad idea. But yes, all my strawberry plants are gone, so we're going to need to rebuy those this year, and hopefully we can get that going again. And with the freeze dryer, I'm hoping to put away a lot of that fruit, so when it is in season, hopefully we'll have enough that we can, you know, freeze dry, dehydrate, powder, whatever need be to be able to use down the road. So that would be so great if we could do that. And I realize we're not going to replace it all like in a year or 2, 3, 5 years. I don't know. But it's a goal to work towards. So that will be good and something that I'd like to do. So the last thing that I really want to work on doing is I'd like to learn how to make vinegar. I'm pretty sure that I can. I haven't done that. I have made kombucha before, and it's a very similar process. You can actually turn your kombucha into vinegar if you let it go and forget about it. So I would like to try that. You can make all kinds of vinegars, but just apple cider vinegar is really the only thing that I want to start with. So hopefully I can get that going pretty soon, and we'll have to do a video update about that. So this list, changes with the seasonings, and I do still buy things when it makes sense. I'm not going to say that I don't buy bread. My kids, I've got a loaf of bread from the store up there. They still, prefer that and on some things. And I don't always have time, to make the bread. I'm trying to make it like a weekly thing, like make bread on this day, and but sometimes it just doesn't work like that. My job is not, it's very flexible, but sometimes it just doesn't work out to where I can always make bread on Wednesdays or something like that. So I just kind of make it as I need it. And sometimes it works out to where we don't have any and I don't have time to make it. So we do still buy it, but I try not to. So, um, let's see. So all of this, not buying the things from the store, it isn't really about going backwards and doing everything myself, the old way. I suppose it is a little bit, but it's about being able to choose the ingredients that you want to put inside your body. It's about possessing the skills to be able to do that. And it's also about choosing capability over dependency. So if you can do these things and you can make these things, or you can learn how to do these things, you don't have to depend on somebody else for them. So, back in 2020 when the stores were a little wild and you couldn't buy bread and things like that, I mean, I was never in a spot to have to wait until the store got bread because I know how to make my own. And, yeah, capability over dependency. I think it's a good thing to just know how to be able to do things. So I'm not dependent on what's available. I can make my own food that suits me and my family. Capability does bring peace. So, I didn't have to rush out to the stores to get that stuff. And that's a peaceful feeling to know that I can do this. I can make things and that my family and me enjoy. So, this way of living slows things down in a good way. And I'm not trying to do everything, I'm just trying to do things with intention. And for me, that intention aligns or just so happens to align with the old way. So, that's a really good feeling to me. And I enjoy doing things that way. And if you do too, I would love for you to stick around and keep up with the videos and just join me on living life the old way. Thanks.